Welcome to the Everything Podcast.
Welcome to the Everything Podcast, Season 2, Episode 25. Before I get in today's episode, yesterday I did a recap of everything we covered last week and what you've got to look forward to in the next couple of episodes. So as I said yesterday, today I'm going to be showing the after show episodes for Only Murders in the Building, Season 3, Episode 1 and 2, as well as reviewing them. So, yes, if you want to see the trailer, I posted it, I think it was the 4th daily episode, so I think it's Season 2, Episode 14. You can find it, and I think the thumbnail you might be able to notice, yeah. And if you go into the description, it's tagged Only Murders in the Building, so you know that. Yes, so Season 3, Episode 1, so as I suspected last week, we would get 2 episodes when they came out. So new episodes come out every Tuesday. I'm recording this the day after on Wednesday the 9th of August, but you're not seeing this till Monday the 14th of August. So yes, tomorrow from when you're seeing this there'll be another episode. So hopefully, yeah. So it should work out that about every Monday-ish, hopefully. If not a bit sooner, depending upon when I can record. But yes, so Season 3, Episode 1. So the cliffhanger at the end of Season 2 was that Glenn Glenroy was, seen to have been killed on stage during the opening night of Oliver, who is one of the main characters. So as I said in the trailer, the 3 main cast is Martin Short, who plays Oliver Putnam, Steve Martin, who plays Charles Hayden Savage, and Selena Gomez, who plays Mabel Moore. And we also have Paul Rudd as Glenroy, and Meryl Streep as Loretta. Can't remember the surname in Season 3 as well. So we know that coming in. So it wasn't a big surprise, because obviously at the end of Season 2, we saw Paul Rudd's character Ben die. Now this episode, Ben gets resurrected, kind of. So what happens is Ben introduces... so we assumed he's died on stage. The show's obviously been cancelled because one of the actors has died on stage. And there's a opening night party which all goes as planned until Ben comes in the room with blood on his shirt. And then he says he's going to go and get changed. And what happens when the 3 main characters, as I've just said, Oliver, Charles and Mabel, find blood is dripping on Charles's hat. So they exit the elevator, American word, lift in the UK, very quickly to find that it full collapses and Ben's dead again. So that's the end of Season 3, Episode 1 of Only Murders in the Building, and now it's time to pass over for One Killer Question, which is the official Only Murders in the Building after show. Here it is.
One Killer Question has returned, tackling the questions you need answered this season.
And if you have any leftover questions from last season,
we won't be any help at all.
No.
Hello and welcome to One Killer Question, the Only Murders in the Building after show. I'm your host, Michael Cyril Creighton.
Yay!
Thank you guys. All right, Ben Glenroy. He is a polarizing figure. He clearly knows how to make an entrance.
Who farted?
But he also knows how to make an exit. And in this episode, he does so twice. And one of them seems pretty permanent. I'd like to welcome Jackie Hoffman and Allison Gwynn.
Remarkable. Yeah, that's me.
How do we feel about this? Ben died twice.
I'm all for it because it was one of the few scenes I was in all season.
Right, yes.
KT is kind of happy about that, I would think, other than being out of a job.
Right.
I mean, I don't think she is a Ben Glenroy fan.
Right. Is anybody, though?
He's a jerk.
Yep. He's a jerk. One of the first things he does in the episode, well, first of all, he's late.
From a stage manager's standpoint, that's a big no-no. You get fines if
Yeah.
you're late.
Okay, so he's late. That's bad. On his first day of work, he tries to get a long, struggling actress fired. Have you ever been fired from a job?
Oh, plenty. I've been fired more times than Ben's been murdered.
Ben goes on this big apology tour when he comes back to life, and he apologizes to every single person that's in the show, the stage manager, the director, everybody. Those apologies were pretty appalling. He needs to
They're
apologize.
like Real Housewife apologies.
They are. They totally are. They are absolutely insincere. They mean nothing, and they're really all about him.
Yes, to make him look better.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
He's one of those people that's not aware of other people. Narcissism.
An actor.
Yeah.
An
he's
actor.
An actor.
Yeah.
He's an actor.
Yeah.
How do we think Ben compares to previous victims? So let's go through them. We have Tim Kono, season 1. End of season 1, Bunny. And now we have Ben Glenroy. All of them initially present as kind of nasty people. Who do we think's the biggest jerk of all out of those three?
Oh, Ben for
Ben.
sure.
Right? There's no
Yeah.
question.
His use of scarves is very aggressive, and
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Questionable tattoos.
Well, on the asshole, non-asshole balance scale, I think he tips asshole
Yes.
much more than anybody else.
Absolutely.
If you hate someone enough that you kill them twice,
Yeah.
there's no coming back.
Yeah.
He may die again.
What do we think about this twist, though, of having a victim die twice? I actually like it because the first death was not in the building.
Sanuma actually comments and says, at least you had the decency to keep the body out of the building this
Yes,
time.
yes, which is the best.
But the night was young, wasn't it?
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
And I thought it was going to be somebody else in the building, and then it was him again, and I was like,
Right.
it's clever writers.
But did he deserve that? Does anybody really deserve to die?
I don't care enough about him to discuss it anymore. Can we move on?
Can we move on? Totally. Yes. Thank you for that. And on that note, it's time for one killer game. It's a little early to speculate who killed Ben, but it's going to be fun to decide how to kill Ben. So this is a game that we call How to Kill Ben. In front of you, you're going to see a pile of green cards and a pile of red cards. You're each going to take one card from each pile, and you're going to use both of those items to create a nefarious plan on how to kill Ben. You want to go first, Allison?
Yes.
Okay, one green card, one red card. Tell us what you got,
Okay.
and then kill Ben.
Okay, here we go. I got a lead pipe and one baked potato. So I feel like this is pretty self-explanatory, right? Because he brings his own food, so he brings his baked potato to the theater, goes to the green room, puts it in a microwave. But what he doesn't know is that there's a lead pipe in there, and he puts it in there, and boom, he's dead.
Brilliant.
I like that.
Wow, she thinks like a stage manager.
Yeah, you're really
Think
good.
like the last time I murdered someone,
Jackie, your
Oh,
turn.
man.
One green card, one red card.
I'm not that smart.
Don't show us what's
Okay.
on the card, just tell us.
Rope and a dog. I tie a rope around the dog. I swing the dog over my head like Hasidic people swing chicken over their heads before Yom Kippur. I let go of the rope. The centrifugal force sends the dog swinging into Ben's skull and crushing him to death.
That's good. No dogs were harmed in the killing of Ben Glenroy.
Yes, the dog lives to
The
eat
dog
the
lives.
carcass.
The dog was happy to be flying in the air. It needed
Yeah.
a little
It's a
excitement.
circus dog.
All right, we're going to do a round two.
All right. I've got a live wire and super glue.
Oh.
Ben Glenroy's character, I would think, has a flashlight because
Somewhere
he's a
Ben
detective.
Glenroy
Yeah.
Somewhere Ben Glenroy has a flashlight.
We super glue a live wire in the flashlight at some point. He turns it on, dead.
You guys
Yeah.
are pretty
I don't know.
twisted.
I can't beat the dog.
The dog, yeah. Jackie, you want to
Not really, but I will. Oh, this is really for Allison. Chloroform and clown nose.
No, that's a Saturday night for me.
Ben finds out that it's Red Nose Day, takes chloroform and kills himself.
That's succinct.
Yeah, clear.
I love
Nice
you.
and simple.
You have to try one.
Can I have one red and one green, please?
Okay, ready? Okay.
I have a dart gun and apricot jelly.
Ooh.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to knock on his dressing room door. Hey, Ben, are you there? Knock, knock.
What?
Are you dressed? Knock, knock. Boop. Oh, hi. I'm going to take the dart gun from my back pocket, because that's where I keep it. And I'm going to shoot him with it several times so that he's pinned to the wall. And then I'm going to take the apricot jelly, and then I'm just going to shove it in his mouth and watch him choke on it.
Nice.
Then give him a kiss on the cheek and leave. All right. Thank you so much for being here. What a great way to kick off this season.
One killer question, the show. We wanna go.
So with that, we'll see you next week on One Killer Question. Until next time, stay safe, everyone.
Yes, so that's it for the first part of this episode. We're currently running at 12 minutes, so it's going to be a jumbo episode. But obviously that's because there's 2 episodes instead of the normal one. So obviously it'll be a normal episode, but it could near half an hour at this point. But yeah, so for the second part of the Everything Podcast Season 2, Episode 25, it's time to review Only Murders in the Building, Season 3, Episode 2. So as I said for the Episode 1 review, and as they said in the after show, Ben Glenroy, played by Paul Rudd, was killed twice, one on stage and one in a lift. Well, fell through into a lift. Yes, so in this episode, there's not really much going on because it's all kind of shock because Ben dying the second time happens towards the end of the episode, so it's kind of that grief and shock coming back. But basically, oh yes, Charles and Mabel get kidnapped because it's Ben's funeral, and because he's these big, massive movie star essentially. Very meta, isn't it, with Paul Rudd? But there we are. So they get kidnapped at the funeral because they think the man who says he's a security guard and has something to show them actually kidnaps them because he's a stalker who has a cat, and the police arrest him, save Charles and Mabel. At the end of the episode, it is Mabel, Oliver and Charles all agree to start the podcast Season 3. I know, it's a podcast of the show. Very, very meta, I know. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Mabel's apartment, she doesn't own, her aunt does, so she's got to move out within a month, so that's added it in. Ben did live in if you watched the Everything, well, I hope you watched the Everything podcast Season 1 and you're continuing with Season 2. It'd be nice if you kept coming back and I didn't scare you off while you were only just watching one episode. But yeah, and yes, so Sting was in Season 1, was essentially the special guest who lived in it. Amy Schumer in Season 2, and Ben, played by Paul Rudd. But for Seasons 1 and 2, it was like an exaggerated version of the actors, whereas this time Paul Rudd was playing an actual character, not himself. And he was the one that got murdered well, twice, didn't he? So, yeah. But that's it pretty much for my review, so I'll be saying goodbye. But first of all, it is time for One Killer Question, Season 3, Episode 2.
Congratulations, you found the Only Murders After Show. One killer question.
Or maybe you just hit the button by accident.
Either way, too late now.
Oh, hello. Welcome to One Killer Question, the Only Murders in the Building after show. I'm your host, Michael Cyril Creighton. Mabel is hot on the case of Ben's murder, which she definitely has time for, because it's not like she has a job or a place to live or a clear sense of direction.
I'm almost 30 and I have nothing figured out. I don't know, I'm just lost.
Which begs the question, should Mabel really be investigating right now? Here to help me are David DeLuise and Drew Afualo. Thank you guys for being here. So let's talk about this. Do we think that Mabel should be investigating right now?
I think she should. The last 2 seasons especially, she really found purpose again through her podcast, through friendship, which she kind of like self-isolated a lot. So I feel like they really brought her out of her shell. I'm in favor of her investigating, honestly. And I'm very nosy personally, so I would also investigate.
You'd also be investigating no matter where your life was.
Yeah, deep down, I'm a chismosa. So
what is a chismosa?
That means nosy person in Spanish.
Oh, I think I'm a chismosa too.
I think I'm a chismosa as well. And I agree with Drew. There's a dead body. We need to know what happened.
The reason I'm pro Mabel investigating right now is because it really does seem to make her happy. And she's 29, right? It's a time when you're figuring yourself out. But like we could make the argument, right, that focusing on Ben's death and the investigation surrounding it is getting in the way of her focusing on her real life. And it's sort of a crutch so she doesn't have to make these sort of adult decisions.
Well, don't we all have those problems? I'm 51 and I'm still trying to figure out who I'm going to be. I think investigating the murder of Ben is going to lead her to who she is, you know what I mean, finding out who she is as a person.
I think that's all your 20s is, really, is constantly, like constant self-rediscovery. Like you're just finding out new things about yourself. I'm a Virgo, so I stick to plans. I never deviate from plans, literally ever. And then the pandemic hit, I got thrown off my career path like unexpectedly. And then shortly after that, I downloaded TikTok and then I started doing this and now I'm here talking to you guys. So I'm all for Mabel rediscovering her.
Yes.
100%. This is a lesson to Mabel. I hope Mabel's watching.
Team Mabel.
Team Mabel.
Team Mabel,
Team
y'all.
Mabel.
Hit me up, girl. I'll help you in person.
That's very encouraging. I think we're all in agreement on this. Yes, she should be investigating. 1, because without that, there would be no show. But 2, she needs something. And if right now it's the podcast, do it.
Mabel's character is someone who's suffered a lot of trauma and death, and I feel like this has been a way for her to like work through it in a way that's healthy.
Yeah.
And that's why I think she's so connected to the podcast and like finds it hard to let go a little bit. This is like the only kind of control she has is whether or not she looks into this investigation.
Right.
She isn't in control of anything else, where she's gonna live, what she's gonna do, how she's gonna make money, but she can control whether or not she sleuths.
Do you think that this investigating will help the other pieces of her life fall in place?
It'll bring them together.
agree.
They're all going to be back together as a team because they'll be working together. I think she needs Charles and Oliver, like they're her family now. They're her like fake fathers. You know, I think as a family, you can solve anything together. You know, I think them being a team is very important to solve the murder.
I think the running theme for all 3 main characters is difficulty letting go. Right, so like Oliver has a hard time letting go of his Broadway failure, and Charles has a hard time letting go of Brazos, right? And then, you know, obviously Mabel has a really hard time letting go of like her friendship and investigating and stuff like that. So I think once that one piece and that door is closed, she'll like really be able to like move forward and see what's next in life, right? So hopefully not any more murder. Or more. That's fine too.
Please, hopefully more murder. Please keep the murder coming for all of us for at least a few more years. Do we think that she could do it on her own? Do we think that she could solve this murder on the own without the help of Charles and Oliver?
They all bring something very specific and unique. I don't think she could do it on her own necessarily.
You're right. Let's hope that they start solving this crime together.
Sleuthing is the right thing for Mabel to be doing right now. I'd never heard that word before. I'd like to sleuth myself. Are you a sleuther?
I would say I'm not a sleuther. I might be too lazy to sleuth.
I feel you.
But I do like getting to the bottom of things.
Yeah, and
this begs the question, sleuthing and nosiness, how close are those two things?
Married. They're married.
I think so. I think they're at least in the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
I think one you can go to prison for, I'm not sure.
Yes.
Right?
And
For
one's
sleuthing?
just fun.
Yeah, one's just sort of fun. No, being nosy
Silly.
is so fun. David and Drew, it's time for one killer game. Our trio of sleuths are trying to solve Ben's murder. So is Ben's not crazy at all stalker.
Punk ass bitch. You should see me now.
Who's more likely to solve the case? In front of you are a pair of binoculars for stalker and a magnifying glass for sleuth. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna ask you some questions about Ben's life. You guys are gonna decide which role you wanna be, pick up the prop and give me an answer. So like an example would be, what kind of shampoo does Ben use? And a sleuth would say, oh, I checked his credit card and it's whatever shampoo he uses. A stalker might say, oh, well, I got some hair from his drain and I smelled it and it smells like oatmeal in perfection. So I know exactly what shampoo he uses. We good?
Yes.
Yes.
We're good. All right. How often does Ben brush his teeth?
Sleuth. I'll do the sleuth one. Not often, because when you look at him, his teeth are a little yellow.
Thank you. Well, based off what I saw through my binoculars on the roof across from his apartment building, I think it's on 92nd Street. He does brush semi-often, however, based off the traces of food in his teeth that I did get off the floss in the trash can outside, I would say he doesn't floss nearly as often as he should.
Are you as scared as I am?
It's true, they're coming for you. You hear that siren?
Awesome,
They're coming for you.
That has nothing to do with
What is Ben's workout routine?
I'll go with stalker. Well, he benches 250, and his sweat smells like sunshine. He runs very fast to the treadmill.
You were so giddy about that. That was stalkery.
He's adorable.
Giggle about how fast he runs.
According to him, he does Pilates. However, I did ask around at the Pilates studio and they did say that he typically goes to the donut store next door to the Pilates. He doesn't ever really come inside. So I'm gonna say not often.
Very sleuth.
Very sleuthy. I love that. Next one. What color are Ben's bath towels?
When I went through his trash, I saw that he bought green towels with a green matching robe.
I guess it depends on the lighting, because when he stands in direct sunlight, they look more teal.
Wow. Drew, you were born to do that.
To be a stalker.
And it's a little scary.
Yeah, it's a little scary. I prefer you in stalker mode. I prefer
Thank
both of you
you.
in stalker mode. This was so great. Thank you so much for being here. Until next time, this was one killer question. Can't wait to see you again. Actually, I'm hiding in your closet.
Creepy.
Yes, so that was one kind of question. Season 3, episode 2. Just a little bit about the review that I've something about season 3, episode 2 of Only Murders in the Building that I forgot to mention that Mabel also saw Ben's ghost, similar to in season 1, where she saw the ghost of Tim Kono. So yes, and speaks to him because she basically says, because in season 2 we find out her dad died when she was very young of stomach cancer, and she would watch Girl Cop with her mum they were in different rooms and watch at the same time, and it just make that pain a little bit easier and maybe forget about it for a while. So yeah, that's it for this episode of the Everything Podcast, which is currently running at about 25 minutes. So yeah, in episode 11, when I went, we're not going to get 20-minute long episodes. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah. But yes, so next Monday, which will probably be the next review for Only Murders in the Building, that'll be season 3, episode 3, probably will be about 10-12 minutes like the normal episodes are. So yeah, I will see you tomorrow, but that is it for the Everything Podcast, season 2, episode 25.